Brigitte, for telling me what the topic was, because it wasn't on the thing. But I can talk about anything, you can tell.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to
Don't worry.
Talk Show, where our coaches can help you get more from your life and create concrete steps to help you get there. My name is Nomsa Clara Mnube. I'm the founder of Hope Spring Eternal Introduction Agency and the founder of Ngosi Talk Show. I have 3 experts with me today, so I'm going to let our experts introduce themselves. Also, they can lay out their professional credentials, expertise. Over to you, Dr. Bigot. Please introduce yourself to our audience.
Thank you very much, Numsa, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm from the United States, Los Angeles, and it's 5 a.m. in the morning here. I know in London it's in the afternoon. And good morning and good afternoon and good evening. Would you love to be able to easily start over in your life, reboot your life, boost up whatever it is that you have going on with a lot more ease and have peace of mind and triumph even more easier? I am Brigitte Tan and I help you do just that, to reboost your life, to start over, and to have peace of mind and transform any trauma and tragedy you have into thriving, joyful life through my work as a speaker, an author, and a coach.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Bigot. Over to you, Clara. Please introduce yourself to our audience.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us from. My name is Clara Rufai. I'm known as the Shine Strategist. I'm a lawyer, I'm a coach, a mentor, and a speaker. I'm also an author of several books. And basically, I work currently within the financial services industry. But the thing that most gets me excited and passionate about life is when I'm helping people to live their best lives. And I do that by creating platforms and providing opportunities to enable people to get in touch with the core of their being, with their skills, their talents, their abilities, their gifts, so that they can create something of value that they can serve to the world. And by so doing, they're making their lives more congruent and more aligned to their purpose. Those are the things that I enjoy doing, but anybody who wants to know more about me can find out more on my website, which is my name, www.clararufai.com, and I'll see you.
So much, Clara. Please, Brenda, introduce yourself to our audience.
Hi, everybody. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name's Brenda Dempsey, and I'm a publisher, I'm a coach, I'm a speaker. I have 30 years educational background experience. I'm a mother of 4 grown-up children and a grandmother of 8 grandchildren. And my whole purpose is to help people find their voice, awaken it, share their stories, and see how they can create something wonderful by sharing their stories. So the word voice for me is synonymous with who I am. All the books that I've written, all the networking that I provide, the platforms, the word voice is always in there somewhere. So whether it's Voices of Joy, which was my give back program last year, whether it's Voices of Courage, the first step to transformation, whether it's Voices of Hope, where entrepreneurs give hope through adversity, that you too can create a business from the pain that you've endured, because it builds the strength, it creates the light that you need to rise and find purpose and bring that passion into your everyday life. This year, it's about resilient voices. So we all need that bounce back ability. And let's face it, we need it more in our life with the last 12 months and the following 12 months. We need to be able to pick ourselves up. So boost ourselves again. And I want to say right off that for me, I'm 63 years of age, and I created a new publishing house in June 2020. So never, ever, ever use your age, your experience, or anything to stop you from living a dream. And for me, I've realized with the authors that I'm working with, I'm making dreams come true and helping them step onto a global stage through using their voice, through their books, in their speaking, and more importantly, that that voice is shared in their message, in their business.
So much. Thank you so much, Brenda. So our topic today is how to start over and reboot your life when it seems too late. So some people might be going through challenges right now. They lost their loved ones and businesses are not going well and marriages are not going well. It could be any part of your life. So Brenda, could you please tell me what does it mean how to start over and reboot your life when it seems too late in your own opinion, please, as a coach?
So for me, one of the things, whatever you're going through just now, ask yourself a question. Am I in control or is it outside of me? If it's outside of you, the biggest thing that we have to learn to master is accepting that which we cannot control. And so when I work with authors or entrepreneurs, whoever, one of the first exercises we do is around your golden thread. See, we look at the highs and lows in your life, and we show you already the evidence that you've got because you've already overcome many things that you forget about, because the human brain is conditioned to look to the negative and not to the positive. You know, I talk about a thing called a brag bag, and that's about putting all those positivities into this bag. So on the days where you feel your life is over, you're in the depths of despair, you think, what's the point? And we've all been there. I've been there. And therefore, when you've got something that you can see as evidence, first of all, in your own life, but look around, there's many, many examples of people in life who've endured, absolutely atrocities, but they bounce back, because it's in the darkness that we find the light. It's in the darkness that we can rise. It's in the darkness. So for me, my adversity was being living in an abusive relationship for 20 years, becoming homeless with 4 children, whilst doing a degree in the final year. So when all hope seemed lost, and I describe it as being on the floor in the fetal position, when I wanted to give up and I'd had enough, something inside of me, and it's not just inside of me, it's in all of us, something just sparked and ignited a little flicker. And then I started to see more of that light and say to myself, am I going to give up now after 4 years of hard work? Am I going to give up a dream since I was a 6-year-old child? Am I going to let people tell me I'm stupid and thick and all of these things that people tell us? No. So as every time I said no, and I have this I can mindset, the I can revolution, then you just have to build and build and build on it. So I would say, if you're feeling distraught just now or in the darkness, think back. When else did you find the darkness? Because it's in our lives. The darkness comes just like the dawn comes to daybreak the night. So does darkness in our life. But it's the light we need to focus on and not the darkness.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Brenda. Over to you, Clara, please. How do you start? What does it mean, in your own opinion, the topic today?
To start with, if you ask me how to start over when it's too late, my first question to you would probably be, what is too late? There's no such thing as too late. And that's just the fact. There is no such thing as too late. One, basic concepts we can pick on. You're only as old as you feel, and age is just a number, and it's not over until it's over, and all of those many different concepts that we can pick on to buttress this point. But my thing is, what does it mean too late? Because you have to step back and ask yourself, who is calling the shots? Who is making the rules? Too late according to whose gospel, according to whose decision, who is in the driver's seat here? And this is what I keep saying all the time when I speak with people and when I teach people, is that whether you like it or not, nature abhors a vacuum. It's only when you leave a vacuum, when you're not sitting in the driver's seat, someone else will sit there and someone will drive you around. And you might not like where they take you. So my thing is a question of you knowing that you carry value, you are worthy, you are packed full of, the evidence is there, as Brenda said. You are packed full of precious things inside of you. And this is why when I talk about my shine message, everyone knows me talking about shine. That's my predominant word and my predominant message. And when I talk about that, I tell people that whether you like it or not, this is not open to argument. You carry value. But the person who's truly shining in their life is that person who has reached inward into the core of who they are, into the core of their being, and has connected with who they really truly are on the inside. They have connected with that, because for most of us, life happens and it threatens to sort of snuff out the flame that we should all be bright, we should be exuberant, we should be living life on a positive lane. But what often happens is the cares of life and the issues of life come and sort of like threaten to snuff out that light. But it is when you refuse to bow to that, and when you call your own shots, and as I always like to say, when you dance to your own drum beat, and when you are singing to your own song sheet, that is the most powerful position to operate from in all of life. If you're operating from that situation, then nobody, not your spouse, not your family, nobody external has the right, or indeed can succeed in coming to tell you that you're too late to do something that you want to do. Do you want to do it? Do you desire it? If you don't know how to do it, because sometimes we're clueless, then ask the right questions of the right people, get the right information, and get going, get implementing. Action changes things. Begin to take the action that will get you from where you are to where you need to be. But nobody, and nature doesn't even work that way, nobody can say to you that it is too late. Brenda, you look amazing. I cannot believe you are 63. You need to bottle up that, I don't know what it is, elixir of youth, and send it down to me here. But you look amazing. And I love your spirit. And I love the fact that you stand for all those things that you stand for. And Brenda is a good example, for instance, of somebody who is reinventing herself on a daily basis. She's not letting anyone tell her it's too late to do this or do that. I was once tricked into doing that, because as a corporate lawyer, when I wanted to go into the entrepreneurial side of me, after I wrote my book in 2016, Prison Break, and I said, well, right now it is time to break out of prison. And mind you, the chief prison was right up here. It wasn't the four walls of the corporate office where I was working. It wasn't my 9-to-5 job. The prison was here. I broke out of that prison after fighting the whole imposter syndrome. You're a lawyer. All you've done is law. You studied to do law. So just be a lawyer. How are you going to start, encouraging people, being this, encourager and inspirer and speaker and all of those things? But I thank God that in my case, I was able to take perspective. Perspective is everything. And maybe I'll talk about that, as we progress into the conversation, but perspective is actually your reality. They talk about the weak link, the weakest link. How you think is your make or break factor. And I'll just leave it there for now and give someone else a chance to say their bit, but I'll come back and talk about it more later.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Clara. Over to you, Dr. Biggett, please. How to start over? What does it mean? The topic, please. I know Clara, she's saying it's never too late to do anything. And Brenda, she's an example for everything. She's saying she's 63. She actually reminds me of my father. When he died, he looked so young. When he died, and look at his age, I'm like, wow, he was an old man. My mom was a baby when they got married. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Numsa. Thank you very much. And so yeah, what does the topic mean? How to start over and reboot when it's too late? Well, for a couple things. For some of us, we might be listening to this and say, well, yes, but you are not in the conditions that I am. Yes, true that you start over, that you you go from your corporate job to create something new. Yes, true that you are at this age, and then you reinvent yourself, but you are not as much of in the dark that you are as I am now, where I have not been able to pay rent for many months, that I'm living in somebody's garage or perhaps in my car. How am I going to start over? Well, if you ever look at a butterfly is so beautiful. It flies everywhere and brings a lot of good everywhere. Many of us know that a butterfly started with a caterpillar. It was caterpillar. A caterpillar goes into a cocoon, and then it went through metamorphosis and it became a butterfly. While the caterpillar, when a caterpillar is going through this metamorphosis, when it first going into the cocoon, from the caterpillar's point of view, the world has end. And if you look at everything about the caterpillar, it really is everything has ended. When the caterpillar in the cocoon, the caterpillar body releases enzyme actually that digests practically 90% of the caterpillar, turning it into a big giant mess of mush. And if you open that cocoon, you will not even see caterpillar. The word has end in the caterpillar eyes, but the caterpillar hang on, and the caterpillar continue, and that caterpillar sooner than later, a whole lot sooner than later, emerge as a beautiful butterfly. If you listen to this and you say, well, yes, it's easy for you if you are just going from this job to that job, this career and that. But look at me, just remember that every dark storm will end. And many times we need a storm. In general, we need a storm or a rain to be able to have rainbow. But you will only see the rainbow if you look up. So hang tight there. If you are in such a situation, you say, I feel it's hopeless.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bigot. Can you turn your volume up? I didn't hear anything, to be honest with you.
My volume's all the way up. Was
Heard that?
were you able to hear me, Clara and Brenda?
Yeah, I think when you lean towards the volume, then I can hear you better. Brenda, what is the number one thing you need for you to start over?
You're mute.
You're muted.
Oh, thank you. My kids would be laughing now. Okay, so for me, that's easy. And it's only easy because I've taken decades to get to this point over the last few months. So it's not like I knew it 10 years ago, 20 years ago. But I can sit here and when I've reflected, vision is what you need. You need vision. So I want to take a point up that Dr. Brigitte said, and that is, so my life began in what's called a tenement building in Glasgow, just in the outskirts of Glasgow. And it was what was called a room and kitchen. So there was 2 rooms and there was 6 of us in it. We had no money. We had a roof over our head and we had food in our tummy. So it doesn't matter where you begin, whether it's privileged, whether it's a struggle, whatever, you can make that difference. So from a child, I always had vision, but I wasn't aware I had vision. I wasn't conscious of it because I had a vision as a 6-year-old of becoming a teacher. That vision was realised in my mid-30s after I'd given birth to 4 children and they'd all gone to school. But that vision remained with me and it kept popping its head up time and time again. And then when I became the teacher and I'd gone through great adversity to become that teacher, I then had to have another vision. And that vision was still around helping others. And that vision began as a 5-year-old and a 10-year-old when I had the vision of helping others. Again, it wasn't conscious, but I used to take money into school every day, a penny, a halfpenny, which is not even, very little, a dime if you're in America, not even a dime, a couple of cents. And so it was not a lot of money. And then as a 10-year-old, I was absolutely shocked by seeing starving children in Biafra with pot bellies. And I, as a 10-year-old, went out and raised money, which would be equivalent to about £10. It was £10 of today's money, but the value was a week's wages in those days. Nobody asked me to do it. Nobody helped me. In fact, my mother told me no. But I had a vision that I knew I was here for a bigger purpose, and that was to help people. So as a teacher, I was helping thousands of children, thousands of staff. I grew in leadership. I helped run schools. I helped out in the communities because I'm here to serve others. I've got a charity. I had a vision of helping homeless people. I was homeless myself. So that came to fruition, not because I decided sitting, I'm going to do it, because the universe gave me an opportunity. And through just a simple throwaway comment, within 10 weeks, we had gathered 10,000 handbags and distributed them to homeless and vulnerable women across the whole of the UK. And now I had a vision as a coach after I gave up 25 years of education, teaching, to help people find their voice, because I was told to shut up as a child. No one should tell you to be quiet. You have a voice, you have a right, and you have to speak your truth. But your truth is given in love. It must be fueled with love and the goodness of others, not from a place of self. That's a difference. That becomes ego, and we know where that leads us. So the vision now is to help other people share their voice. So in June 22nd, 2020, the right people came into my life 6 weeks before that date. And in 6 weeks, we built the foundation of a business and launched a publishing house, where now I love to help other people write in their voice, speak their truth, and use that in their business. So when you have vision, it might not always be conscious, but when it becomes conscious, you have got fuel to drive you, because it's bigger than who you are. And that's vision can help leave a legacy. And I know that's hard to think when you're in the darkness, but I've told you that I was in that darkness. I had no money. I had nothing. But the will to change, to have a vision, to drive me to achieve that vision, reach out to others. That's what has got me to where I am today. Brenda Dempsey, who she is today.
Thank you so much, Brenda. That's really empowering. It requires a lot. When you want to rebuild your life from the scratch, it requires a lot of inner strength. You have to have courage to go on. You have to have hope. You have to have faith. Like, you are the voice. You have to be able to use your voice and basically be surrounded by the right people. So thank you so much for that, for empowering people. Over to you, Clara, please.
I'll tell you what you need to help you start all over again. I think one of the most important things that you need is perspective, mindset, perspective. Because you see, even the very thought that you are stuck, even the very thought that you're in a place where you're hopeless or without hope, or you cannot help yourself, is a mindset thing. as a man thinketh, so is he. And was it George? Who was it who said, if you think you are, Henry Ford, I think.
Henry Ford, yes.
And if you think you're not, whatever you think you are. In both cases, you're right. So what I would say is the most critical and most important thing, one of the most critical and important things is the way you think. If I use myself as an example, where in 2016, even though somebody else may look at my life and think, oh, she's a successful corporate lawyer, she works in the city, she earns a lot of money, I was not happy. And so that was my truth, that was my reality. I was not happy. I was always looking around at my colleagues or, people I'd gone to school with and seeing this one's doing a PhD and this one's doing this and that one's doing the other. And in a sense, being envious of the fact that they were going after their dreams. But that instead I was stuck in this boring, as I thought of it then, boring corporate work where every morning somebody dictated for me. I felt very emasculated, where every morning somebody dictated to me what I had to do. In the sense, it's a 9 to 5, right? So you get up at a certain time, you catch the train, whether it's cold or hot, or whether you feel like it or not. And then you show up at a certain time and you sit down and you go through the rule book, the procedure, the processes, and I'm a creative at heart. So that for someone like me was starting to kill me. I was dying in small measures every day. So I was going to work and feeling like this work was shrinking who I am, was making me less than the giant that I know I have inside of me. And meanwhile, I sat there and I was thinking, I am called for much more, called to be much more than a wife, than a mother, than a legal practitioner, than a lawyer. I'm called to the nations. My voice should reach beyond my geographical location. How can I do that? How can somebody in America, how can somebody in Germany, how can somebody in India, I'm sorry, ladies, I have to connect to power. How can somebody in India know about me, know of me, hear my message, hear my voice, be encouraged by me, inspired by me? How can I get somebody on the other side of the world to say, because of Clara, I can go on. I'm not throwing in the towel. Because of Clara, I can do it. If she can do it, I can. So what was uppermost in my heart and what made me wake up every morning was this desire to influence people. And this desire, and I kid you not when I say I'm an influencer today, because my podcast, just take my Shine Capsule podcast, which by the way, I describe as, I just describe it as an audio pill that you ingest, you consume, you swallow, and it helps you shine from the inside out. Because when people hear the word shine, they think about the bling, they think about something, that shines and is bright and all of that. But sometimes shine is not as loud as people would want to think. Shining just simply is a process of reaching inside of yourself, looking at where you are in your space in that moment and deciding, how can I make it better, even if it's by an inch? How can I make a difference, whether it's to my life or to somebody else's life? And as we said the other day when I was here, we said how that when you shine, you give others permission to shine. For that matter, when you shine, the whole essence of shining is light is generous. Light doesn't discriminate, right? If I had a light and I turned it on, it will show me the way and it will show other people around me the way as well. That's what light does. So that we have a call on our lives. We have a mandate, which to me is almost like a spiritual mandate, that you have to get up and you have to wear that shine mantle, that shine cloak. You have to take on and embody and embrace all your giftings and all your talents and everything that God has put on the inside of you. And if you can connect with that, my friends, you can do and be anything at any stage in your life. Look at the powerful analogy that Dr. Biggett gave us of the caterpillar and how he becomes, how that becomes a beautiful butterfly. But if you were to look into the mess that it emerged from, you wouldn't know it came from that. If you were to look at Brenda's life today, you wouldn't believe she grew up in a tenement, that she was once homeless. She's inspiring people today. Her voice is reaching the nations, literally. That's what it means. Her thought process, I sit here and she's talking and I'm nodding and nodding and nodding and say, yes, sister, you are my tribe member. I feel like you're a member of my tribe because I can resonate with what she's saying. If your life can be that life that, how do I put it, that changes, inspires, teaches, encourages just one person. It doesn't have to be the whole world, just one person. Then literally you are using your life to make a difference. This is what I mean, that we don't just have our talents for just for having them. We connect with our talents. We are blessed to be a blessing. We connect with our talents so that we can create something of value. Nobody ever lights a light and then hides it. It defeats the purpose. We create something of value that we can serve to the world. And it's only in serving others, serving the world, that fulfillment comes. This is my belief, and this is what I live by. So I would say the key thing is perspective. When I escaped the prison of the mind, that's when the world opened up for me. So that before, I thought about my day job as a prison. When I started writing my book, Prison Break, in 2016, when I said prison, I meant my job. I thought that, it was restricting me and I couldn't do the things I wanted to do. But then I had that epiphany when I started to think of it as a fundraiser. Because all the things that I've gone on to do, my website, I run an annual global conference and awards, ceremony. I've done so many, many, many things. All of those things have had to be funded. And so now I think about my day job as a fundraiser. So I'm a fundraiser by day, and I'm a dream maker, a change agent by night. So everything has to do with what you have, the quality of your thoughts. Here, right up here, is where you have the weakest link or the strongest link. It's your make or break. So if you feel like you're stuck, if you feel like, it's too late for me, whether it's because of age or no money or whatever that limitation is, that's all it is, a limitation, a challenge. And for me, I eyeball challenges. Tell me I can't do something, and that is something that I'm going to try to do. So that's just the mindset. Mindset frees us up. So I would say, yeah, mindset is one of the very critical ways in which you can start all over again. And of course, it's never too late.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Clara. Over to you, Dr. Bigot, please. What is the number one thing you need to start over?
Thank you very much, Nomsa. Thank you. And yes, I love what Brenda and Clara says. Definitely, it's important to have a vision on where you would love to go. It's definitely really important for that. And the visions can definitely, inspire you to go. And as Clara says, it's a perception. Is the word really ending? Or is it actually a new beginning? Because depend on how we see it, Lao Tzu, the Asian philosopher, says that new beginnings are often disguised as painful endings. So definitely, I agree. Those are very important things to me. At the end of the day, everything calm down, and the same thing if of what the number one thing that will allow you to start over is your decision. You can have all the visions that you have, and you can have understanding or perceptions, a positive perception. You can even be the most positive person, but if you don't decide and say, this is it, I'm done. Clara back in the day, says, I feel like I'm in prison. I feel like I'm in a prison. I'm in a prison. So I'm looking around. I'm in the prisons. And as she has the understanding, at one day, I imagine you, Clara, make a decisions. That's it. I'm writing this book. I'm going for it. So to me, it comes down to decisions, and And sometimes it is scary to make a decision. It can be very scary to make a decision. And sometimes you might feel like you are on a spot where you just have nothing, and how you going to decide. I was in one of those spots only 10 years, less than 10 years ago, actually. The life I knew has seemingly disintegrated just like that. And then it felt the way it was. It started with a very unexpected divorce. My former husband, seemingly to me, left out of the blue 1 month before our 15th wedding anniversary. And then in the next 2 years, I experienced death of loved ones, divorce, financial loss, and 9 other different grievous events. At the end of that 2 years, I wish I could die. But I didn't die. And after some times, I decided that if I have to stay alive, I'm going to thrive, not just survive. And Ralph Waldo Emerson says that once you make a decision, the universe conspires to make it happen. Because if you asked me back then how I'm going to thrive, and I decided that I'm going to thrive and doing that with ease and fun, not just thriving. How? I have no idea, but I decided, and very soon it seems to be, and it really is. I discovered this complementary thing, these free things, this that just within a matter of a few years allow me to turn all my result around. So it's you got to decide, just like Clara decided. And just like Brenda's day to day decided that, I'm following my visions. I'm done being in the prisons. I'm done being in the dark. Decide, and the universe will conspire to help you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Bigot. Basically, you guys are empowering people with your stories, with what you guys have gone through, and having the courage to actually go through your problems and not around them, and find that strength to go on, because you do need that strength to go on and to be able to actually do the things that you want to do in life. If you look at people who are successful, they all have a story. They all have something that they have gone through. So we all have gone through something in life. I have gone through something in life myself. So you just have to actually be willing to actually do whatever it takes. For me, I'm not afraid to climb the mountains, even if I have, as long I've got food. That is my quote. As long I've got food, I've got water, there's nothing else that I need in my life. And I've got clothes to cover my body and to get outside and just get on with it. I'm not afraid of a failure. I'm not afraid of whatever it is that the universe want to bring it on. Bring it on. I'm ready to face it. So thank you so much, girls. How can you use your pain? How can your pain help you to start over, Brenda?
Unmute again. So for me, I do love, we hear, and I'm sure there's books around it as well, pain to pleasure, So pain, it's going back to the mindset. I'm a huge mindset mastery person, because without mastering your mindset and going within and aligning all of it, it's tough. So the pain, you can choose. So it's about choice. It's decisions, it's choice. It's all emotional intelligence. So you've got a choice. Do I want to stay in the dark and be in pain? Or do I want something different for myself? Do I want something better? So it's taking the thoughts. We've said this, we all probably know the same stuff, but we all say it in our own way. So you've got a choice. Do I want to stay pained and feel sorry for myself? And it's okay to feel sorry for yourself and have a little pity party, but just a small one. But you want to get out of it. So you've got to make a choice to think of the light that we've talked about, to think of something better. And Clara talks about shine. I talk about sparkle. All my things around the diamond. We're diamonds core under pressure, thousands and thousands of years. Start off as a bit of coal, and over time, the pressure, so the sparkle and the shine comes through. So with the pain, it's about learning through your mistakes, surrounding yourself with great people, and knowing that with the pain comes the pleasure when you get through the other side. It's choosing, I'm not going to feel this pain today. I'm going to take my mind and focus on something that will allow me to let the pain go. Now, we know the power of the mind can heal, and stories heal. They heal, they inspire and transform. So in sharing your story and writing it down, you are releasing the pain. You're giving yourself permission to change the perception of who you are. And we've talked about perception. So for years, I thought I was a nobody. I didn't think I was good enough. Everybody was better than me. I was hopeless. Imposter syndrome has been mentioned. So knowing that pain is part of the shine, of the sparkle, of the growth, of revealing who you truly are, then we can endure that pain. And we can start to look at how do we release that pain? How do we separate ourselves out from the pain and rise? We talked about the light, and it's true. We rise and our light shines. We become beacons of light, like these big lights behind me here. Not that they're real, but they're in this picture. And, you know, when someone takes a light from your beacon, your light doesn't diminish. Actually, it amplifies it and you grow even more. But now someone else has got a light and their light grows and grows as they share it. You know, because for me, pain, collaboration, find people, get support, hear what other people have got to say, and choose a different thought. Choose a different thought. Choose a thought that brings pleasure. No matter where you are, you can find a different thought. The little story I want to tell here is on my father's deathbed. When my father was gasping for breath because he was dying of pneumonia, couldn't breathe. We decided we could have been there, me and my siblings, and cried and got really dark, and we felt that way, but we chose not to allow that feeling to overtake us and that thought. So what did we do? We sang, because my father loved singing. So we rose above our personal pain and we thought of my father's ending, and nothing would have given him more pleasure than to hear our voices sing. So find in your pain something that brings light. Know that the pain is temporary. Everything is temporary. Nothing lasts forever. And endure that pain so you can make that choice to choose something different that will allow you to rise and find the light and spread the light. And the more you, it's like everything else, practice it. Practice makes perfect. All these little idioms that we hear. So know the pain is there. It is real. But when you choose to let it go, when you choose a different thought, when you choose to rise into the light, to shine, to sparkle, whatever word you want to use that resonates with you, then pain becomes a thing of the past.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Brenda. Over to you, Clara, please.
Thank you so much, Brenda. I mean, just listening to you speak, I was just, encouraged and inspired, and I could see the passion. I could feel the passion. Do you know what? Brenda talks about, pain to pleasure. It's so true. So 2017, I was part of an anthology. A group of people came together and we wrote an anthology. And the title of it basically was Pain to Purpose.
Oh, yeah.
Pain to purpose, from pain to purpose. Pleasure. Because here's the thing. It is not a lie when we say that, your pain often will lead you to your purpose. I like to talk about, not like to talk about, but I use it to buttress a point, how that, years ago, I lost two of my younger siblings in a freak boat accident on the same day. And I talk about how that threw me into a spiraling web of pain, how that made me become like almost antisocial, unreachable. No one could reach me in my pain. I didn't even want to be reached. I didn't even want to be rescued. I felt like my world had ended or should have ended. I mean, what am I doing here? Two amazing, lovely, gorgeous, innocent souls had just, their lives had just been cut short. It made no sense. There was no rhyme or rhythm. I didn't understand why it had happened. And I felt sorry for myself, sorry for my family. We were all hurting. So the places where I could naturally, or the places and the people who I could naturally have gone to for soccer, I couldn't go there. I was of no use to them either because I wasn't helping them to deal with their pain. My mom was hurting. I was hurting. We were all hurting. And I tell the story of how that put me in a place where I was almost at loggerheads with God or with the concept of God. And this is as a Christian, as a person of faith, because I felt all kinds of bitterness. I felt all kinds of doom and gloom. And I said to God at the time, on your watch, like, really? And you want me to trust you? How could this have happened on your watch? And I went through years when I felt like that's it. I'm just not getting, I'm not feeling this relationship that you and I are having thing. But do you know what? In that place was where I got to know God in a special, special way. I became so intimate with him. And that's when I came away with that belief, that mindset that my sisters are no more. Yes, their lives have been cut short, but I'm still here. And I'm here for a purpose. And the reason I'm here could just be because, God wants me to show that I came away with a sense that I needed to live my life for them, in a sense, vicariously live their lives. They're no more here, but I needed to make my life count. And I promise you, that's when, it was years in the making, years in the oven before what I call the shine philosophy came to be birthed. But it was in that space that I knew that my life had to count for more. It had to be about more than me. It had to be beyond me. It's about something bigger. And so that's when I started to work with this philosophy, and I started to think that when we reach inward and we connect with who we really are on the inside, and from that place, we're able to then, reach outward to serve the world. That is the true meaning of fulfillment. And that's when I started to craft the whole, start, harness, identify, network, and express, the letters that spell shine: start, harness, identify, network, and express. So what am I saying? When I talk about pain to purpose, I'm talking about using your story and your voice. As Brenda has been saying, you use your voice. Here's one thing: our stories are not for us. Our stories are to connect us to the people that we are called to serve. And when you share your story and you share it unapologetically, your story doesn't have to be rags to riches, grace to grass. Those are just titles and things that the world, especially social media, would have us put on our stories. You cheapen your story by doing that. What it is that your story, when you speak it with authenticity and with truth, you are owning it. And by owning it, you are connecting with somebody who is going through something, who is going through a challenge or limitation or the same experience as you may have gone through. And by connecting with that person, you're able to be a beacon. As Brenda said, you're able to be a source of hope. You are able to tell the person, hey, lean on me. And that's what life is about. We are interrelational. We are social beings, social animals. We are the way we are. God created us the way he created us for a reason. You depend on me and I depend on, we're interdependent for a reason. So when you tell your story, yes, you're giving direct insights into your own personal story and experience. But what people hear when they hear your story is that they connect with their own story and they find something that is relatable, in their lives to your story. So the more personal you make your story, then the more universal it becomes. That feels like a contradiction, doesn't it? The more personal you make your story, the more universal it becomes. And this is the work that I do, because most of the time I tell people, I'm just interested about helping you identify the many ways in which you can shine and make a difference in your own unique way. So this is why I talk about personal brilliance. It's not about what the other person is doing. It's about me, with my stutter, with the way I speak, with my accent, with my color, with everything, just with my scars. I've got scars here. You know, scars are powerful. Everything about me I use to tell a story. And once you can own all that and own who you are, there's nothing in the world that you cannot overcome. There is no such thing as too late, too poor, too broke, too black, too white. All of those things are just concepts that the world uses to limit and restrict us. So storytelling is very powerful. And I would say that the path to go from pain to purpose is for you to tell your story and to tell it unapologetically. I believe in the power of storytelling. I believe we all have a story, and I believe that we all should be unapologetically sharing our story.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Clara. And what you just said, mentioning that when you were going through something, when you lost your sisters, you said to God, on your watch. I think there are so many people at this moment that have those questions, and I hope they're going to use your story to actually go on, because I basically sometimes when I was going through divorce, that's what I said to myself, God, why would you give me a good man and take that man away? But I was willing to actually look at the truth that actually when God responds, he responds when you are looking for an honest answer, he will respond in an honest way with you. And sometimes it will be something that you don't expect. For me, I was busy with my looks. I made sure that I had good fake eyelashes, good fake hair. When I stepped outside, I didn't step in the mud. I made sure that when I step outside, everyone goes, wow. But I was neglecting my soul. I didn't work on myself with personal development. And I was like, no, I didn't do anything. I gave you what you asked for, but you didn't know how to look after it. So if you don't know how to look after something, then you're gonna lose it. So thank you so much for that, because sometimes God, give us pain for us to learn from that pain. It's not that because he took your siblings away, he took them away. He didn't take them away. That is Lucifer's job to do that. So he was testing you and your family. So I'm glad that you were able to say no to the opposite of him. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go my way and God's way. So thank you so much for that, Dr. Bigot. How do you use your pain?
Thank you very much, Numsa. So yes, how can your pain help you to start over? Absolutely. So a couple things to me. One is definitely what you and Clara and been saying, and Brenda, and then when you have pain, Ken Kais, which is one of the personal development starter back in the day, says that everything has the opportunity to be a teacher. Everything and everyone has the opportunity to be your teacher. So what is your pain teaching you? And it is perhaps you no longer feel like you are you no longer feel you have your freedoms, just like with Clara, it's like the pains of being in this, the four walls, the glory of corporate things, but it's no longer giving you what it is that you need. So what is your pain teaching you? And use that pain for you to look inside. And as Clara and Numsa and Brenda shares, look inside and then connect and tap in. And so what is your pain trying to say to you and help you discover? And that is one thing. And you can, and once you discover, it is definitely up to you to decide that you no longer want to be in pain. Many times, have you ever been with unrealizingly, you come too close to the stove or something, touch a hot kettle. What did you do when you do that? You're like, ow, and you let go so quickly, right? So the same thing, your pain, you can use your pain to fuel you. Your pain can be a fuel for you to say back in the day with me, I said, you know what? I no longer want to be this. I was sick, heartbroken. I was sick all the time, heartbroken, broke and miserable. And I was done with that. And I decided that I'm done with this pain. I don't know how, but I decided that I'm going to thrive and do that easily and with fun. So you can use your pain as a teacher. You can use your pain as a fuel. And have you ever start a new endeavor? Let's say it's a New Year resolution and you start a New Year resolutions or any endeavor, perhaps it's changing your life completely and you get started and you get started. And then 2 weeks passes by and things happen, and 3 weeks passes by and things happen. And before you know it, you say, well, so many things happen, so I'm just not keeping up, or something happened and you just get discouraged. Well, if you keep in mind your pain, the pain that really, really pushed you, that pain you can use as a constant reminder, not that so you dwell in it. We're not talking about you dwelling in your pain, but just reminder. Whenever I got discouraged, and many of us who change our life, I got discouraged and we look back and say, no, we're not going back there. We're not going back to being homeless like back in your childhood, Brenda. You, Clara, you're not going back to the prison. You're like, okay, I have challenge, but I'm going to surmount this challenge instead of going back there. So you can use your pain to teach you. You can use your pain to push you, and you can use your pain to help you remember why you're going to where you are going now. So you're not going back there. I believe the first name's pronounced Ritnik. I might butcher that. Ritnik Roshan, which is who is an award-winning Indian actor, says that pain is fuel for a fitter world. And so you can use your pain now and every pain that you feel as your teacher, and to keep you going and keep on going to rebooting and reinventing your life.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bigot. Any words of encouragement, Brenda, you would like to leave with our audience, please? Brenda, you're muted.
That's 3 times in a row. How good's that? My lucky number. So, what was I saying there? Yeah. So, when you're in a dark place, and we've all been there. We've all been there. There's no one who hasn't been in a dark place. Just stay with it and allow it in a mindful way to wash over you, and find peace at that moment as you allow it to wash over you, and accept that this is the hand that you've been dealt at this moment in time. And I concur and echo what Dr. Bridget said. It's a teacher. Every lesson teaches us more and reveals something about ourselves. And don't think that even when you're successful, you don't. This week has been the biggest teacher for me around money mindset. And the pain I've suffered this week, it teaches me to reflect and to think, what is it teaching me? What is all these challenges that I've faced this week teaching me? But when you know that the darkness and your pain and being stuck is a lesson in life, you can accept it more readily and think, okay, what do I need to learn? What do I need to learn about myself? How do I need to accept it, let it go? And what can I do to make a different choice and to create the change? Because that's what we need. We need, it's not one thing, it's a series of things. And when you put them all together in a kaleidoscope, they create the most beautiful picture. And keep that vision in mind.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Brenda. Over to you, Clara. Any words of encouragement you like to leave with our audience, please, before we leave?
Sure. And can my words be in form of a poem that I wrote? You know, I told you I was part of this anthology, Pain to Purpose. And I wrote this little piece at the time when we launched our book. Can I just read that out? It might encourage someone. So it says P. First of all, I spell out the word purpose and then I read the poem. I said P is for pain, plunder, and paranoia, but it's also for purpose, passion, and power. U is for ugly, unwanted, unloved, but it's also for unique, uplifted, and unashamed. R is for ravage, rape, and regret, but it's also for rainbow, resplendent, and restored. P is for parasite, paranoid, and pervert, but it's also for priceless, precious, and pardon. O is for oppressed, offended, and ostracized, but it's also for open, optimistic, and opportunity. S is for sorrow, stricken, stifled, but it's also for splendor, sparkle, and shine. E is for egocentric, emasculated, and exploited, but it's also for encouraged, enabled, and empowered. We share our true stories with beautiful endings. We started out with pain, but we've journeyed out to purpose. We're no longer the victims here. The victory is ours. Obedience to a higher call, we've recycled our previous pain. We've discovered the strength to win, the wisdom, and the grace. So now we qualify to share, to encourage, and to inspire, to help others in standing tall, empowered for their own race. So we invite you to harness your pain and win like we have done. So that was a piece that I wrote.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Clara. That was beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Over to you, Dr. Biggett, please. Any words of encouragement you like to leave with our audience before we leave?
Thank you very much, Numsa. Yes, definitely. Karl Barth, the award-winning writer, says that though no one can go back and make a brand new start, anyone, including you, can start from now and make a brand new ending. And if you need support because you don't know how to make a brand new ending, we're here for you. Each and every one of us is here for you to help you start now and make a brand new ending.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Biggett, Brenda, and Clara. I hope our audience, they're gonna take some notes and actually create their own life and embrace that pain. Sometimes people are ashamed of whatever they are going through. Guess what? If you ask people, people are nosy, they're gonna laugh at you. Even if you are succeeding, they're just gonna have any opinion, whatever they have, even if you're going through pain. So you might as well embrace that pain and do whatever you think is right for you, and just keep going and find the right people. When I'm saying keep going, I'm not saying you keep talking about it. You just find the right people and relate, those who are gonna relate to your pain, who are gonna understand what you are going through, as long as they're not feeling sorry for you, because you don't want people that are gonna say, oh, he's gonna get better soon. You want people that tell you to get up and do things. So thank you so much. For those who wants to, if you feel that there's a coach that you want to connect with, you can go to our page and go to Talk Show, and there's an email there, and just request the coach that you want to request. I know some people, they send me messages private and you never take action. When I tell you contact this coach, they never do it. Please, I hope someday you're gonna actually get up and say, I've had enough of this life that is not getting me anywhere, and get in touch and work with our coaches. So thank you so much. We are here Monday to Friday, 1 p.m. and I will see you on Monday. I see you on Sunday. I'll be talking about love. Live with grace, everyone.
Live with grace.
Namaste.